again. So earlier I did a little topic on my opinions or sort of my analogy about the Lord's Prayer and this phenomenon of performative allyship. So that wasn't a sermon or anything, it's just some things that I learned in college classes and studying spiritual techniques from different faiths, and so learning the background behind some of those things. Obviously, prayer is a spiritual technique, so what I taught you in the last video was that Jesus was actually teaching his students a form of praying when he taught the Lord's Prayer. That was a takeaway. That was a big part of the lesson. So it wasn't just a single unit of prayer, an example, this specific prayer, the Lord's Prayer, but it was like so many things that Jesus taught. It wasn't just about that specific thing that he was showing you, but that was an example given in a broader context. And so I wanted to go back to that idea of what Jesus was talking about and discuss it again, but this time put it in the lens of a Jewish faith, which, of course, Jesus was not only a contemporary of those sort of rabbis like Sadducees and Pharisees, and they weren't the only ones. There was also the Essenes and other groups, but it was one of the people of Israel, or the Hebrew people, in a biblical sense. So in our rabbinic tradition in Judaism, so this idea didn't just come first from Jesus, but we have this idea in Judaism as well. And the example that Jesus gave to teach this broader lesson, so I'm doing an analogy between prayer and activism. So it's kind of back to activism again with the Jews, because we have something called Tzedakah. A sort of like rough translation of it is charity. That's not like a literal translation, but that's like what it kind of means in the modern world. And again, with tzedakah, the rabbis, the sages teach us that the most virtuous kind of tzedakah that you can do is the kind that no one else sees. So for instance, let's say you're driving to work every day and you go past the same corner, an empty corner on the street. Then when you're driving home, by that time, a person who's without a home is standing on that corner and put it back into the religious context, receiving alms or receiving, donations or handouts, in other words, charity. If you roll down your window and hand him $1, now you're coming home from work, everybody's coming home from work, it's a rush hour, it's a traffic jam, and so there's cars in front of you, there's cars behind you, and they all just saw what you did. Now, that's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't, mean you're the worst person. I think it's, in Chabad, it's some kind of darkness or something, or, I don't know exactly what there's, some kind of dirtiness or something, but I don't know exactly. It's getting a little too, religious and stuff, but, and I'm not the one to explain that anyway. But anyhow, it's not like, you shouldn't be doing that, because, you're still doing good. But it is more virtuous to, for example, if you left a meal, so something that's not going to, let's say it was the winter and it's not going to get ruined in the sun. But if you left some food at that spot in the morning, when, say, you're the only one on the road and even that person isn't there. So let's say even if you gave that person a donation And even if they were the only one that saw it, you're still looking great in their eyes. So that's not to say that you're bringing that person down or that you're a bad person now because you're doing that, but it's not as virtuous as doing the right thing when no one is looking, doing tzedakah, or in a modern phrase, doing charity anonymously when not even anybody knows. You're not getting your name on a plaque, you're not getting anything in return. You're giving freely of yourself, and you're not even asking for recognition for doing that. And that is when something is truly noble and truly generous. And again, these are not my words. This, I'm not a prophet here, but this is from what I've studied. So again, thank you for listening.